Hey everybody, welcome to Treya Tarot. This is the collective reading for Tuesday, July 30th, I believe. Yes, we're getting close to August. I don't know if everyone's aware, but there's some really weird astrology for August, and I'm hoping that this week sets us up for as smooth a, last month of summer, so to speak, as possible. Although I guess September is technically the last month of summer, but where I am, that's when it starts getting cooler, so. All right, I've already shuffled the deck. I'm going to use the Morgan-Greer today, so there will be some reversals. And then let's just get started. If you like my style and you'd like to stick around or be notified when I upload new videos, please like, comment, and subscribe, and ring the bell if you want to get those notifications. All right, let's see what we have for today. Ooh, well done. So justice, balancing, rebalancing of the scales. I would say, excuse me, some news is probably coming in for some of us that helps us put down something we've been carrying, something burdensome that we've been carrying, or something that was heavy but necessary. The Justice card, that rebalancing of scales, that karmic rebalancing, what's the word I'm looking for? The fair assessment of allocated resources. That's how I'm going to say it. So this is about the overview. This is about the overview and understanding who did what and when, and evening out the playing field, the ground that we're all standing on. I actually had an experience of this morning where somebody was talking to me about this exact type of experience of understanding the holistic view of something that they had experienced that was painful. So do not be surprised if you experience something over this week that brings to light the whole picture, meaning your part as well as the other part or other parts of a picture that left you feeling quite emotionally raw, or potentially it could be a trauma situation, but it could also just be a relational situation or a job where you felt you were wronged, or you felt that you did wrong. There will be a balancing of that today or this week through certain types of information. Now, swords are ideas, they're communications, they're thought forms. So to have that sword in the Justice card and then the Five of Swords right after it tells me that this is something that restructures the way you think about loss or winning, restructures the way you think about what you've gained or lost in certain situations. There's a fairness implied here that I don't think we may have seen as accurately until now. The Strength reversed, it tells me that this is something that hits very, very close to your heart center. So this is something that potentially makes you feel compromised, weak, or vulnerable. And it's something you've carried sort of like a cross to bear that will kind of get reconciled the more you process the new information. I see that the new information could potentially be actual messages and communication, or it could literally just be a new idea or a new perspective on something. So keep that in mind. The Empress, yeah, there's a lot of freedom coming up, like choices of freedom. Like, do I want to carry this with me forever, or do I want to excuse me, all my stones to cover up cover up the cards. Do I want to carry this forever? Or do I just want to let this go without the need for active forgiveness? Or can I forgive without the apology? Or what was I responsible for that might have been something I was running from? The Empress here is that it's ready. It's time. It's time to flush this through. It's time to let everything come up to the surface. It's time to understand the ways in which you've restricted your thinking so that you can open up to a new type of partnership or choice point and transform. The beauty of this is that it's pretty clear. You're carrying something that has to do with who's the good guy and who's the bad guy. This gets evened out by new information or new perspectives, and it may leave you feeling a little wounded in a way. The first realization, it'll feel a little bit like, oh no, that makes me too vulnerable, or I don't want to see that part, or something like that. But it quickly transitions once you put down the burden. It quickly transitions into, it's time to move forward. It's time to break myself out of these restrictive thinking patterns, these belief systems that kept me from actually accessing true connection. This is the card of valiance, or at least that's how I learned it. And so that's what comes up. But it can also be about fighting for your perspective. But the more you fight, instead of allowing the whole picture, the more you fight your side, the less and less you connect to the people around you. So I feel like there's a message here of trying to understand the personal connotations of whether or not you feel like you're right or wrong, or whether or not you can grow and change with the new information that you've gathered over the course of however many days, months, weeks, years it's been since this original situation occurred. Can you challenge your own belief systems? Can you see yourself as a holistic human being, meaning you're good, you're shadow, you're bad, all of the stuff that you are as a whole human being? Can you admit where you went wrong? Can you admit where you didn't go wrong? Can you hold your own when you know that you weren't the problem? Those are the questions that come up with this kind of reading. And that four of wands is like, it's almost like a traveling back to the past, because for me, the Four of Wands is about celebratory transitions. So like that sort of, it's a card of marriage, but it comes up as a portal for me a lot in readings. So to have it reversed tells me that this is a question of, how many times do you have to travel back over this material, travel back into the past? How many times do you have to empty that cup? How many times do you have to empty your heart of this to finally move forward? Yeah, to finally let go of the way in which you keep repeating the pattern, to heal the wound. The interesting thing about the Five of Pentacles here is that while it traditionally is about feeling like you're left out in the cold, reverse to me tells me that this, especially right next to the Ten of Swords like that, tells me that this is about not reopening the wound. This is about not feeling like you're the isolated, dejected party here. This is about coming together. This is about connection. This is about healing something that may have been a big rift for you, either internally or with others. Oh, I just got a peek of what's on the underside of the deck. All right, and to end with the Tower is just kind of incredible. It's like a reversal. This reads like a reversal in general, like the reverse of a very contentious experience, something that kept you bound, kept you isolated, kept you hurt. And you end it by understanding that you were part of it, that you weren't necessarily acted upon, but that you participated on some level. And this can be sort of, how do I say this? This can be a little sticky, this type of material, because it brings up questions of victimhood and victimization, and where and when we experience those things, and how we challenge the idea of forgiveness through this type of very intense wounding experience. So have some grace with yourself through this particular type of transition here. This feels like it floats a boundary between, almost being too rigidly self-protective and or too people-pleasy. It's like trying to find that line in between. But it's beautifully played out, at least in the cards it is. And I hope this manifests in some people's lives, because this is like a pivotal turning point kind of read that says you're overturning an old wound by taking responsibility for what was yours, So obviously, in certain circumstances, this won't apply, especially if it was certain types of trauma, this will not apply. This is more of an emotional process for someone who experienced something hurtful or painful that was mutually complex and complicated. So keep it in perspective and only take what resonates. Card readings are more of an art than a science, in my opinion. So, you know, we're taking symbols here. Try not to push anything into alignment if it's not feeling that way. I know a lot of card readers say that, but it's important to remember, so I'll say it again. I feel like pulling just 3 more, sort of as a recap. Okay, so the work's actually done. You've actually completed the cycle. This karmic ending that has been coming up over and over and over again for my readings for the past 2 weeks, I think we've completed it. I think this is the turning point, literally. So today, tomorrow, this week, where we're actually turning around and changing the thing that needed to be changed. And on the bottom of the deck, just so that you can see, is the 6 of Wands. That is a card of victory. And even though it's in the middle of the suit, so there's still more work to be done. That's what that applies to. Even though it's a victory, it's a 6, so you still have some steps to take. The hard part is over on some level, personally. I feel like this could collectively open up into us processing this type of material on a group level. But I'll wait to make those, I'll wait to make those connections until the cards actually say that to me. But you can take the minute to appreciate the victory. Take the minute to understand that even though you might feel a little bit worn out and emotionally raw about everything you've experienced over the past decade or so, for some of us, it's more than that. You came through, you solved the problem, you figured it out, you took responsibility for your own participation, your own contribution, your own belief systems. And that's something to be happy about, even if it feels like bittersweet in that way. Like, even if you can see and appreciate the ending at the same time, this can feel a little bit like, like a letdown after a lot of work. But it's actually opening stuff up. So anything that seems like it might be a bit of a disappointment might actually turn out to be a dream resolution, like an absolutely amazing opportunity to change. You just may not be able to see it right now. So one step at a time. Hope everybody has a good day. I will be here tomorrow with more tarot for you. Let me know if you guys want to see specific topics. I'm happy to, I'm going to expand. I'm going to do the collective readings every day, but my intention is to expand to topic specific and or potentially sign specific later on. I'm working on a instructional series too, so a how to read tarot, so going through the symbols of each card kind of thing, and working on how to build the stories, so working on the process of reading. If that's of interest, let me know. If not, I'll think of something else, but I figure as a tarot obsessed human being, I wouldn't mind going through the whole major arcana and talking about the fool's journey, stuff like that. So let me know if that's of interest, and if not, I'll think of something else. All right, have a good day, and I'll see you tomorrow.